In New York, there was an evil hotel with a room, number 1408, that no one ever stayed in. Since the hotel opened in 1912, a total of 56 people had died in that room, in all sorts of gruesome ways. No one could figure out exactly what had happened. To prevent further tragedies, the hotel had closed off the room. However, there was a writer who specialized in ghost stories. He had visited haunted houses all over the country but had never seen a ghost. He didn't believe in ghosts at all. When he heard about this room, he immediately went to the hotel to check in. The front desk refused, and even called the hotel manager. The manager politely declined him, but he insisted on room 1408. The manager invited him to the office to talk, and then his smile disappeared as he urged the writer not to stay in that room. He took out a notebook. The writer opened it and saw that the first victim had died in 1912, during the hotel's first week of operation, by slitting her own throat in the bathtub. As he continued to flip through the pages, he saw more and more horrifying details. No one had survived for more than an hour. The writer became even more intrigued and insisted on staying. The manager reluctantly agreed and escorted him upstairs. He asked if the room was dirty, and the manager replied that they would do a quick cleaning. Usually, 3 people went to clean it, but even so, some employees still got injured. When they reached the 14th floor, the manager gave him one last warning, but the writer still didn't believe him and went in alone. As he walked, he opened the notebook, and the photos on the pages grew more and more terrifying. He became so engrossed that suddenly, he found himself back at the elevator. Could there really be a ghost? He put down the book and focused on walking to the room. Before he entered, he even saw someone next door, who seemed perfectly fine. Finally, he arrived at the room, inserted and turned the key, opened the door, and turned on the light. Everything in the room seemed normal. The man sneered, closed the door, and began to inspect the room. He opened the window to look outside, and everything seemed fine. But then, the radio suddenly turned on by itself, giving him a huge scare. His bed had even been made. The man felt like there was someone in the room, but he couldn't find anyone. He closed the door and realized he couldn't hear anything. He opened the window, but there was no sound outside either. Suddenly, the window slammed shut, and he screamed in pain as he pulled his hand back. He turned on the faucet to rinse his hand, but the water suddenly turned hot. He was terrified and called the front desk, saying he wanted to check out, but there was no response. The man was truly frightened. He rushed to the door, but the key wouldn't work. It seemed like the door had become a solid wall.